This episode of Lenses and Lyrics is brought to you by Imagine, the AI post-production tool built for professional photographers. Whether you're culling hundreds of photos or editing full galleries, Imagine helps you get your time back by learning your style and handling the heavy lifting. That means less time behind the screen and more time doing what you love, like growing your business or rocking out with your band. Check them out at lenseslyrics.com/imagine. That's IMAGEN. Work smarter, not harder, with AI assistance and intelligent automation from Imagine. Welcome to Lenses and Lyrics, where music and photography collide. This podcast dives into the crossover world of photographers who are or were musicians, those whose passion for sound influenced the way they see through the lens. Connect with all things Lenses and Lyrics at lenseslyrics.com. Benny, I am so happy we're doing this. First of all, it's very early your time, fairly not as early my time, and it's always nice to see your face in the morning. The only time I get to see your face in the morning is when we're at trade shows. So this is nice.
That's true. I am a night owl, so you know.
So I'm going to kick this off with, tell me about your history with music. I know that originally when you were like, hey, would I be a good fit? You were a little hesitant. And I'm like, it doesn't matter how deep in music you were before going into photography. I want to hear about it, because the crossover in the industry, which I do plan on surveying the industry to get a good sense of the true crossover percentage, but the crossover's got to be pretty big. So tell me about your history with music.
All right. I want to say, okay, so one of my first instruments I ever played was a violin. Mm-hmm. And that was back in, so there's a little family fun history, I guess. Okay. I grew up watching my oldest brother learn violin. And then I don't quite remember my second brother playing piano, but that's what my parents were like, oh, you know, one played violin, one played piano, they'll be perfect duets, you know? Mm-hmm. But then when it got to me, because I'm 6 years younger than my second brother. So when they got to me, they're like, they gave up, you know? They're like, just like, whatever, right? So they didn't even offer to take me to a music lesson. Mm-hmm. because I remember my oldest brother playing violin. When I got to middle school, I was like, I want to play violin. Like, there's an orchestra. So my parents were pretty shocked. So I was able to use my brother's violin to get some private lessons. And then I was in orchestra all the way through high school. Yeah, I played violin, yeah.
Cool. And when you were playing, like, what was your favorite type of music to play? Was it the classics, for lack of a better word? Yeah. Or is it musicals? Was it something more modern? Like, what was it that you really liked playing while you were playing it?
Okay, so if you ask me to remember names, I can't remember. But I really love like melodic ones. So like Mozart as one of those, or like the famous like Fur-Elise type of songs. Yeah. So anything that has like a very melodic feel to it, like, but I feel like back then when we learned instrument, it was kind of unheard of to like play modern music, right? Like with violin. Yeah. I mean, nowadays you like, if you hear a lot of people use like classical instruments play like pop music, right? It kind of integrated into the pop genre, or like, I don't know, heavy rock kind of thing, right? Yep. But back when I was learning, it was mostly just like classics. Yeah.
It's interesting because you brought up like integrating violin, for example, to pop music. There's so many types of music these days that I would say in the past maybe 15 years, where violin, cello, these instruments that you wouldn't expect to be in rock, right? Or metal, like
Yeah.
Heavier hitting music that you wouldn't expect these instruments to be in, and now they're in it. And it's just, sometimes it catches you off guard. And sometimes those instruments are the forefront. But my favorite is, because there's a band, I don't know, I want to say they're from like the Midwest somewhere, but the band's called Cursive. And the cello's like, besides from the singer's voice, which is quite unique, the cello's what stands out the most. So I always thought that was interesting. And that's like a rock band. But then you get bands, have you heard of Sigur Rós from Iceland?
Oh, I haven't.
So they are a very sort of ambient type band. And I don't think they have a violin in the band. However, the guitarist experiments a lot and actually does use a violin bow on his guitar.
Oh.
And it's super
What?
interesting. Yeah.
Wow, how do you even do that? Because the guitar is flat.
Yep.
Because violin there's a bridge, so it's bowed.
Yep.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. Yeah. If you hear the music, it might make more sense because it's a lot of that like constant one chord going for a little bit.
Okay.
And with some effects, and it's really interesting. But so was there a defining moment while music was something you were focusing on? Was there a defining moment that stood out? Maybe a solo performance or something like that stood out from the violin?
Not quite the violin. I think violin was like, I think just something I grew up watching my brother doing. So I think I just naturally wanted to do it.
Okay.
But I actually went into playing drums for a while.
Okay.
So it was like kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
Right? So like, yeah. And then, so I was like and then drums, I actually never had a private lesson. The only reason I got into drums was because I was very involved in like youth group, right? Church and stuff. So I wanted to play. So I ended up picking up drums just to play on the church like worship team. And so that was like that was more of a actually playing in front of people than like the violin. The violin was more like, yeah, part of the orchestra. Like, you only have like a concert like every so often, right? Like throughout the school year.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then.
So
I don't know.
From the drumming, is there a moment that really stood out? Like you have a memory to this day of, for example?
I think not like I don't have particular. I just remember like I just remember playing it, and then of course you're like on stage playing, and then that's all I kind of just remember. Like people like it, right? Because especially if you're playing like a worship songs, like you cannot mess up really, right? Because the drums are like the main beat to the music. So I just remember like don't ruin people's mood, like that's yeah.
Yeah. My wife this year was moved from teaching in the middle school to teaching in high school for the first time ever in her entire teaching career. They moved to the high school.
Wow.
And her first day of school, oh no, it wasn't the first day of school. It was the day before. It was like a teachers only day, right? But because like the football team and the marching band, and they all start practicing over the summer prior to the school actually starting, they had drumline to welcome all the teachers into the school that day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So my wife, for the first time ever, experienced a drumline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That to me, like, drumming is so impressive. When you're a good drummer, it's really impressive. But a drumline, there's almost nothing more impressive than a drumline. When they're like perfectly in sync.
It's like, it's the top.
Yeah.
Top of the top. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so impressive.
Yeah.
So what made the shift from, you did some violin, you did some drumming. How'd photography come into your world? Like, how'd that shift come?
Okay, so photography has always been kind of in my life. Like, I think it's just my dad was a big camera guy, so whenever we had like family trips, we would have trips with like his group of friends. So like we would have like a bunch of our little ones, so we all go together. And my dad, so with among his group of friends, he was always a photographer. So he was the one that would document everything. So I kind of picked that up as I was growing up. So even for my friends in like middle school, high school, I usually will have a camera with me. This is the 35 millimeter days, so I would always have with me, and then so I would just already start documenting. But for music wise, I've always been into like slideshows. So this is before like Animoto type of thing, like when music are syncing to the pictures. So, but I've always really into that. So when I first found out about Animoto, I was like, oh my gosh, there is a world that's like that put the two together. Like I was like trying to imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know if I had to shift. I just feel like it was kind of like
there.
In the same time, because I see when I hear the music, I can see it's like I see a slideshow going.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. It makes me think your photography clients must love the heck out of the slideshows you might make for them, or if you do IPS, you know what I mean? Like they must really enjoy the experience. If you love it that much, it probably comes through for your clients as well.
Okay, so for that's the funny part, like in the beginning I was kind of creating these like synced slideshows for them.
Yep.
But I never really get like a actual like I get a few, obviously. They're like, oh yeah, these are great, Benny, But then after a while, I was like, I don't know, how like with us photographers, we send out galleries and we're like, well, we didn't hear back anything, so they mustn't like it,
Yeah.
So for a while I was doing it, but I was like, I didn't really like it, I haven't really like, and then, but I think the mix between like social media, right? Like we've taken like. Before we would take a whole song and then we would sync it right to the rhythm or like to the beat, and then so you would end up being like a 3-4 seconds, like which is pretty good for like an image be on the screen to enjoy, right?
Yeah.
But then now, because social media is, this is when it first rolled out the reels, right? It was like 30 seconds, or no, like 15 seconds or something like that, right? When it first came out. So it's like, well, now we got to condense like a 3-minute song into a 15-second thing, and then like you can't really,
Yeah.
So I think at that point I felt a little discouraged, like like you can't really take the time to enjoy the photos with the music.
Yeah.
But now that they extended it, I feel like okay, now we can have a little bit more of a sneak peek type of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? I know you use Fundy for your album designs, correct?
Yeah.
Have you embraced the tools, all the modern tools that are available for making the reels, making slideshows? Are you like what's that look like for you from the tool set standpoint?
Tool set standpoint, so before I haven't really got myself into CapCut, but even though I feel like CapCut is probably the most advanced in like actually doing really good syncing with music, but I think this is also because I think I just got burned out from like making these synced slideshows things, like and then not get much response for it. But before I loved like Animoto type. Because they were the first ones to come out with the syncing, and they were great because then it was a full song and all that stuff. So Fundy does have a slideshow one, but it doesn't sync to beats.
Have you looked into Social Templates Co. as a simple alternative?
Yeah, I've looked into it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I
really
like the way that it's not a separate app you need to install. The fact that it's literally just Instagram templates that are already beat matched, ready to go, I think is a really nice aspect to it, to just make it less daunting to create it, right? You're just loading up the photos or video clips, whatever it is from the day, into your phone, and then, in seconds you got it done, right? I think it's a nice thing.
Yeah. I do have a question though. Those templates that you have like set songs, right?
Yeah. So when Angela designs them, she designs them with the trending music, the ones that are ready.
Okay.
Instagram's telling you, use these, they're going to perform well. That's what she bases the templates on.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you think that your background with music has influenced how you connect with your clients for photography in any way? I'm going to expand that question a little bit. I'm going to expand that question.
Okay.
Because music is also teamwork, do you think it's also influenced how you work with second shooters or videographers that are with you on that day, or the DJs or the band or whatever? Overall, do you think music has impacted how you work with your clients or peers?
That's a really good question, and I probably never had thought of it that way, but I think it definitely does because I had learned how to play in the orchestra, right? So in orchestra, there's first violin, second violin, there's the viola, right? There's the cello, and then there's bass. So, right, we all have to work in sync in order to get across the music. So, and same thing with the drums, right? You have to play with the whole band. So, I guess maybe unconsciously or consciously, you just naturally learn how to work with people in that way, I guess. I never thought of it that way, but I guess it does. It's kind of like the base, right? Like fundamentals. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to have that foundation, right? In the case of music, the bass, the drums, you got to have the foundation. In photography, there's got to be a foundation of some sort. Maybe for some, it's taking the lead from the wedding planner. Maybe for some weddings, you've got to take the lead because there is no wedding planner and you have the most experience, right? So I think there's lessons there, right? As musicians working with others. Are there any specific songs or albums that inspire you with your photography or inspire you when you're doing your culling and your editing and the post-production work? Anything that you like your go-to to listen to when you're doing your thing?
When I'm actually editing, I can't have like too soft music. Okay, so I grew up listening to classical music to go to sleep, and I would literally I would play classical music and go to sleep, but then I can't do that while I'm editing because I would just want to go to sleep. Right. So I actually listen to a lot of like dubstep,
okay,
like chill step kind of songs. Uh-huh. What is it? Future bass. So anything so it kind of ties to my drumming era, I guess we call it. Yeah. Like a lot of beats. So as far as like editing wise, like actually working, I need that kind of music to kind of like as a motivator, like to keep me going. Yeah. But when I'm doing like social media stuff, obviously, I guess I'm a little different. I really like rhythm and melodic stuff. So then sometimes they're not the most romantic looking sounding songs. They're just really good rhythm, right? Or like really good melody. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm always a little torn. It's like, cause like, like doing weddings, like you have to have like romantic songs, like, but I'm like, I listen to like, even though the lyrics can be really good, I really more focus on the melodic side. Yeah. So
that's cool.
So I don't know. I always feel a little torn, like, I should have more romantic songs on my on my page, because weddings.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. So, if you could photograph any musician, whether or band, past or present, who would it be and why?
Ooh, that's too many. I guess for photo wise. Uh-huh. Like, cause you like, in order to capture like an actual action, right? Like in photo, I feel like it has to be like very emotive, right? Like very like action. So, I guess my first artist that comes to my mind is like, have you ever heard of Vanessa Mae?
Oh,
she's actually the first one to, but you've heard of Lindsey Sterling, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Vanessa Mae is actually the first one that ever brought electric violin in with pop music or like rock music before Lindsay made it like more streamlined.
Yeah.
So in that way, I feel like if I were to capture somebody, it would be like little action shots, like playing violin, like actually like rocking out to music.
Oh,
I feel
Vanessa?
like that would be, yeah, Vanessa Mae.
Okay.
I mean, she was the one. So Vanessa
I'm
is
looking
more
her up,
like
by the way. I'm
rock
just
style.
Googling her.
Yeah. So Vanessa Mae is more like rock style, right? Like she's very like, it's very classical, but it's still very rock. But Lindsay Stirling is a little different. She's like more ballet type, right? Like she's more like spinning, like like kind of dancing.
She's like, I consider her cinematic. Like she's performing more than just
performing.
rocking out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's very like, she's kind of flows like with her dance, right?
Yeah.
Vanessa Mae back then, it was more like it was already very like what do you call it? Like the classical people didn't like it because she had brought like classical music into like this rock, theme, but then she was like, so anyway, I feel like she's the first one that comes to my mind. Like,
nice.
I would want to photograph her. Yeah.
Great answer. I'm definitely going to listen and watch some videos of her playing later when we're done.
Yeah,
I love watching Lindsay
Stirling.
Stirling, so it'll be a nice treat to.
So Lindsay Stirling, I feel like she plays a lot of like pop, like more popular music, like pop music, right? But Vanessa Mae at the time, she would remix the classical music with like a rock style, Yeah. So it's like classical music, but it's
cool.
like rock remix. Yeah.
I'm excited to listen to that. Okay, so improv is like a key in many styles of music, right? How does that spirit of improv translate to your work as a photographer, especially in unpredictable live settings like weddings can be?
I mean, I guess that's a good question. Let me think. I think for violin, it's probably, I don't know. I guess for violin, it's a little bit more different because you're the main melody, right? You play violin mostly. So you kind of just follow what's in front. But I guess, I don't know. That's a good question. I guess when I was playing violin, I didn't get into the like improvisation too much. Mm-hmm. So, but I can see that as a like a true pro, then you can improvise because you know all the chords, right? And you can kind of dance around a little bit within the chords to still sound good, even if you like mess up or something,
Right.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun one. I've only asked one other person this question.
Okay.
If your photography style was a genre of music, what would it be and why? It's a hard one. It's a very hard one.
Well, because there's so many genres.
I know. And some people make up genres of music, which is even crazier. So it's like, some people, it's like you look at punk rock and you're like, punk rock is a genre. It's just rock. It's just a subset of rock, right? So
yeah,
it could really be anything you want, or it could be a combination of two genres if you want. It's whatever you think. There's no wrong answer.
I guess it depends on what I'm shooting. I think if I'm doing weddings, I feel like, if I'm shooting weddings, I feel like the classical side of me plays a lot. Mm-hmm. Because in my photography, I really love a lot of like motions, right? But stop motion pretty much, right? Like you stop in action. Mm-hmm. So I usually like my couples to kind of be in motion for me to like capture the photo. Mm-hmm. And then so it has to kind of be like, it goes back to the melodic side, right? Like I hear, like I have this like maybe like a vision of like how the song would be, but not like, there's no actual notes, right? It's just kind of visual. And then so like I have to kind of give them instructions like, okay, can you like do this? And then kind of hoping that they would kind of go with the flow of what I have in mind.
Yep.
And then capture that. So I think for weddings, classical probably has a lot to do with it. And then, but like one of my favorite things to capture at wedding days are actually the open dancing. because then sometimes I need to go through my footage sometimes, because I started recording myself like POV. But I do this a lot with all the guests when they're dancing. Is like some people will just stand on the side, we take pictures of people dancing, but I actually go into the floor, and then I sometimes I'll turn on my video light on my camera, on my flash, so that I can get their attention on me. So when I go to them, and then if they're really into it, like they'll like dance in front of the like into the camera, like as if I have a video camera. But so then I'll kind of move with them a little bit, and then get them to like, oh, like he wants to dance, and then I get pictures of that and get the so,
which is very much not classic. So that's really interesting. That's
yeah.
So there's maybe it's modern classic.
I don't know. Well. That's why I feel like Vanessa Mae type of music is very fitting, because you're taking a classic music, right? Classical music. Yeah. But then you're twisting it a little bit. Yeah.
I am curious what, like, in Spotify and Apple Music, I'm looking it up right now, what genre she's considered. It looks like looks like she's just under composer. So that leaves it out there.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just really, she's just under composer. Let's go to I'm gonna go to one album. Let's see. I'll just go to an album, and it's under classical.
Yeah.
So,
because I feel like she's the one that started the really using classical instruments to play like pop music, and so she kind of mixed the two. But then the next generation was like, well, we'll just take the instrument and play the actual pop music, and then yeah. Well,
I think that description of your work, I could definitely see it. So that's good.
Do you see it? Like, does it? Yeah.
Yeah, I can visualize it 100%. Last question for you, and this is a good one for any musician out there who's listening to this, who's watching this. What is one piece of advice you would give to a musician who's thinking about picking up a camera for the first time?
Like any instrument, you want to put in as much time as possible, and then like let's just say any instrument really, like for violin, even drums, as long as you put in time, you'll eventually like learn from your mistakes, right? And then you kind of continue to improve your progress. So same thing with cameras, like. I think when even though I started very young, like taking pictures with my 35 millimeter, like point and shoot, like I still feel like that has taught me to, like, especially with film, right? Like you can't waste your film. So you have to like one by one, and then it teaches you to be patient, because then after you take it, you have to like wait for it to develop. Like, a week later, you're like, okay, now I got to go through and like, did I mess up? Or, oh, how come this thing is blurry? But I think they're very, very intertwined. Like, put in the time, just be patient. Like, you're not just gonna buy the best instrument or camera, and then like automatically be the best photographer, or whatever instrument you're playing. So, yeah.
Nice. Well said, Benny. This has been fantastic. I'm so glad we made this happen. Can you please share with those listening, and I'll put everything in the show notes, where they can check out your beautiful photography?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. I should probably join the other ones to do, but I don't post on there. BYC Photography. B as in boy, Y as in yellow, C as in color. You'll find all my work there, and hopefully kind of see what we talked about today in my portfolio.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me and chatting about all this. It's such a fun topic.
Thanks for having me.